Good morning, everyone. And we continue our morning reading together. We pick some classics just to read, just to study together, okay, as fellow students. So here we go. And this is just an excerpt from The Secret Teachings of All Ages, Fundamentals of Qabalistic Cosmogony. So here we go. And I'll give a link for those that want to purchase a copy. So here we go. The Kabbalists conceive of the Supreme Deity as an incomprehensible principle to be discovered only through the process of eliminating, in order, all of its cognizable attributes. That which remains, when every knowable thing has been removed, is Ein Sof, the eternal state of being. Although indefinable, the Absolute permeates all space, abstract to the degree of inconceivability. Ein Sof is the unconditioned state of all things. Substances, essences, and intelligences are manifested out of the inscrutability of Ein Sof, but the Absolute itself is without substance, essence, or intelligence. Ein Sof may be likened to a great field of rich earth out of which rises a myriad of plants, each different in color, formation, and fragrance, yet each with its roots in the same dark loam, which, however, is unlike any of the forms nurtured by it. The plants are universes, gods, and man, all nourished by Ein Sof, and all with their source in one definitionless essence, all with their spirit, souls, and bodies fashioned from this essence, and doomed like the plant to return to the black ground. Ein Sof, the only immortal, whence they came. Ein Sof was referred to by the Kabbalists as the most ancient of all the ancients. It was always considered as sexless. Its symbol was a closed eye. While it may be truly said of Ein Sof that to define it is to defile it, the rabbis postulated certain theories regarding the manner in which Ein Sof projected creations out of itself, and they also assigned to this absolute not-being certain symbols as being descriptive, in part at least, of its powers. The nature of Ein Sof they symbolized by a circle, itself emblematic of eternity. This hypothetical circle encloses a dimensionless area of incomprehensible life, and the circular boundary of this life is abstract and measureless infinity. According to this concept, God is not only a center, but also area. Centralization is the first step towards limitation. Therefore, centers which form in the substances of Ein Sof are finite, because they are predestined to dissolution back into the cause of themselves, while Ein Sof itself is infinite because it is the ultimate condition of all things. The circular shape given to Ein Sof signifies that space is hypothetically enclosed within a great crystal-like globe, outside of which there is nothing, not even a vacuum. Within this globe, symbolic of Ein Sof, creation and dissolution take place. Every element and principle that will ever be used in the eternities of cosmic birth, growth, and decay is within the transparent substances of this intangible sphere. It is the cosmic egg, which is not broken till the great day be with us, which is the end of the cycle of necessity, when all things return to their ultimate cause. In the process of creation, the diffuse life of Ein Sof retires from the circumference to the center of the circle, and establishes a point, which is the first manifesting one, the primitive limitation of the all-pervading zero. When the divine essence thus retires from the circular boundary to the center, it leaves behind the abyss, or, as the Kabbalists term it, the great privation. Thus, in Ein Sof is established a twofold condition, where previously had existed but one. The first condition is the central point, the primitive objectified radiance of the eternal subjectified life, About this radiance is darkness caused by the deprivation of the life which is drawn to the center to create the first point, or universal germ. The universal Ein Sof, therefore, no longer shines through space, but rather upon space from an established first point. Isaac Meyer describes this process as follows, quote, "The Ein Sof at first was filling all, and then made an absolute concentration into itself which produced the abyss, deep or space, the Adam Kadmon or primitive air, the Azoth, but this is not considered in the Kabbalah as a perfect void or vacuum, a perfect empty space, but is thought of as the waters or crystalline, chaotic sea, in which was a certain degree of light inferior to that by which all the created worlds and hierarchies were made. See the Kabbalah. In the secret teachings of the Kabbalah, it is taught that man's body is enveloped in an ovoid of bubble-like iridescence, which is called the auric egg. This is the causal sphere of man. It bears the same relationship to man's physical body that the globe of Ein Sof bears to its created universes. In fact, this auric egg is the Ein Sof sphere of the entity called man. In reality, therefore, the supreme consciousness of man is in this aura, which extends in all directions and completely encircles his lower bodies. As the consciousness of the cosmic egg is withdrawn into a central point, which is then called God, the Supreme One, so the consciousness in the auric egg of man is concentrated thereby, causing the establishment of a point of consciousness called the ego. As the universes in nature are formed from powers latent in the cosmic egg, so everything used by man in all his incarnations throughout the kingdoms of nature is drawn from the latent powers within his auric egg. Man never passes from this egg. It remains even after death. His births, deaths, and rebirths all take place within it, and it cannot be broken until the lesser day be with us, when mankind, like the universe, is liberated from the wheel of necessity. The Kabbalistic system of worlds. On the accompanying circular chart, the concentric rings represent diagrammatically the 40 rates of vibration called by the Kabbalist spheres, which emanate from Ein Sof. The circle, X1, is the outer boundary of space. It circumscribes the area of Ein Sof. The nature of Ein Sof itself is divided into 3 parts represented by the spaces respectively between X1 and X2, X2 and X3, X3 and A1 thus. X1 to X2, Ein, the vacuum of pure spirit. X2 to X3, Ein Sof, the limitless and boundless. X3 to A1, Ein Sof, or the limitless light. It should be borne in mind that in the beginning the supreme substance, Ein, alone permeated the area of the circle. The inner rings had not yet come into manifestation. As the divine essence concentrated itself, the rings X2 and X3, Ein Sof and Ein Sof Or, became apprehensible. For Ein Sof is a limitation of Ein, and Ein Sof or light, is a still greater limitation. Thus, the nature of the Supreme One is considered to be threefold, and from this threefold nature the powers and elements of creation were reflected into the abyss left by the motion of Ein Sof towards the center of itself. The continual motion of Ein Sof towards the center of itself resulted in the establishment of the dot in the circle. The dot was called God, as being the supreme individualization of the universal essence. Concerning this, the Zohar says, quote, "When the concealed of the concealed wished to reveal himself, he first made a single point. The infinite was entirely unknown, and diffused no light before this luminous point violently broke through into vision." Unquote. The name of this point is I Am, called by the Hebrews Ehyeh. The Kabbalists gave many names to this dot. On this subject, Christian D. Ginsburg writes, in substance, the dot is called the first crown, because it occupies the highest position. It is called the aged, because it is the first emanation. It is called the primordial or smooth point. It is called the white head, the long face, macroprosopis, and the inscrutable height, because it controls and governs all other emanations. When the white shining point had appeared, it was called Keter, which means the crown, and out of it radiated 9 great globes, which arranged themselves in the form of a tree. These 9, together with the first crown, constituted the first system of Sephiroth. These 10 were the first limitation of 10 abstract points within the nature of Ein Sof itself. The power of Ein Sof did not descend into these globes, but rather was reflected upon them, as the light of the sun is reflected upon the earth and planets. These 10 globes were called the shining sapphires, and it is believed by many rabbins that the word sapphire is the basis of the word sephira, the singular of Sephiroth. That great area which had been privated by the withdrawal of Ein Sof into the central point, Keter, was now filled by 4 concentric globes called worlds or spheres, and the light of the 10 Sephiroth was reflected down through each of these in turn. This resulted in the establishment of 4 symbolical trees, each bearing the reflections of the 10 Sephiroth globes. The 40 spheres of creation out of Ein Sof are divided into 4 great world chains as follows. A1 to A10 is Absolute, the boundless world of divine names. B1 to B10, Bria, the archangelic world of creations. C1 to C10, Yetzirah, the hierarchical world of formations. D1 to D10, Asiya, the elemental world of substances. And then up here it says, the Kabbalists used the letter Shin to signify the trinity of the first 3 Sephiroth. The central circle slightly above the other 2 is the first Sephira Keter, the white head, the crown. The other 2 circles represent Chokmah, the father, and Binah, the mother. From the union of the Divine Father and the Divine Mother are produced the worlds and the generations of living things. The 3 flame-like points of the letter Shin have long been used to conceal the creative triad of the Kabbalists. Okay, back to this. Each of these worlds has 10 powers or spheres, a parent globe and 9 others which come out of it as emanations, each globe born out of the one preceding. On the plane of Absolute, A1 to A10, the highest and most divine of all the created worlds, the unmanifested Ein Sof established his first point or dot in the divine sea, the 3 spheres of X. This dot, A1, contains, or Keter of Absolute, A1, contains all creation within it. But in this first divine and uncontaminated state, the dot, or first manifested, God, was not considered as a personality by the Kabbalists, but rather as a divine establishment or foundation. It was called the first crown, and from it issued the other circles of the Absolutic world. A1 to A10, or A2 to A10, A just means Absolute. So in the Kabbalistic world of Absolute, Keter through Malkut. So A2 to A10. In the lower world, in the 3 lower worlds, these circles are intelligences, planets, and elements. But in this first divine world, they are called the rings of the sacred names. The first 10 great circles or globes of light which were manifested out of Ein Sof and the 10 names of God assigned to them by the Kabbalists are as follows. From Ein Sof came A1, that's Keter of Absolute. The first crown, the name of the first power of God was Ehyeh, which means I am. From Absolute, from A1 came A2, that's Chokmah of Absolute. The first wisdom, And the name of the second power of God was Jehovah, which means essence of being. From A2 came A3, that's Bina Vatsalut, the first understanding, and the name of the third power of God was Jehovah Elohim, or Yahweh Elohim, which means God of gods. From A3 came A4, that's Chesed Vatsalut, the first mercy. And the name of the fourth power of God was El, which means God the Creator. From A4 came A5, that's Gebra Avatsalut, the first severity, and the name of the fifth power of God was Elohim Gibor, which means God the Potent. From A5 came A6, that's Tiferet Avatsalut, the first beauty, and the name of the sixth power of God was Eloah Vedat, which means God the Strong. From A6 came A7, that's Netzach Avatsalut, the first victory, and the name of the seventh power of God was Jehovah Tzebaot, which means God of hosts. From A7 came A8, that's Hod Avatsalut, the first glory, and the name of the eighth power of God was Elohim Tzebaot, which means Lord God of hosts. From A8 came A9, that's Yesod Avatsalut, the first foundation, and the name of the ninth power of God was Shaddai El Chai, which means omnipotent. From A9 came A10, that's Malkut Avatsalut, the first kingdom, and the name of the tenth power of God was Adonai Melech, which means God, the king. From A10 came B1, that's Keter of Bria, the next world, Bria. The second crown, the world of Bria, was established. So, the 10 emanations from A1 to A10, that's Keter to Malkut to Vatsalut, inclusive, are called the foundations of all creations. The Kabbalists designate them the 10 roots of the tree of life. They are arranged in the form of a great human figure called Adam Kadmon. The man made from the fire mist, red dirt, the prototypic universal man, in the Atzilutic world, the powers of God are most purely manifested. These 10 pure and perfect radiations do not descend into the lower worlds and take upon themselves forms, but are reflected upon the substances of the inferior spheres. From the first or Atzilutic world they are reflected into the second or Briatic world. As the reflection always lacks some of the brilliancy of the original image, so in the Briatic world the 10 radiations lose part of their infinite power. A reflection is always like the thing reflected, but smaller and fainter. In the second world, B1 to B10, that's Keter to Malkut of Berea, the order of the spheres is the name as in the Atzilutic world, but the 10 circles of light are less brilliant and more tangible, and are here referred to as 10 great spirits, divine creatures who assist in the establishment of order and intelligence in the universe. As already noted, B1, or Keter of Bria, is born out of A10, and is included within all the spheres superior to itself. Out of B1, that's Keter of Bria, are taken 9 globes, B2 to B10, which constitute the world of Berea. These 10 subdivisions, however, are really the 10 Atzilutic powers reflected into the substances of the Briatic world. B1, or Keter of Berea, is the ruler of this world, for it contains all the other rings of its own world, and also the rings of the third and fourth worlds, C and D. In the world of Berea, the 10 spheres of light are called the archangels of Berea. Their order and powers are as follows. From A10 came B1, Keter of Berea. The second crown is called Metatron, the angel of the presence. From B1 came B2, Chokmah of Berea. The second wisdom, it is called Raziel, the herald of deity who revealed the mysteries of Kabbalah to Adam, or Adam. From B2 came B3, or Bina of Berea, the second understanding. It is called Safkiel, the contemplation of God. From B3 came B4, that's Chesed of Bria, the second mercy. It is called Sadkiel, the justice of God. From B4 came B5, that's Gebra of Bria, the second severity. It is called Samael, the severity of God. From B5 came B6, that's Tiferet of Bria, the second beauty. It is called Mikael, like unto God. From B6 came B7, or Netzach of Bria, the second victory. It is called Haniel, the grace of God. From B7 came B8, or Hold of Bria, the second glory. It is called Raphael, the divine physician. From B8 came B9, or Yesod of Bria, the second foundation. It is called Gabriel, the man god. From B9 came B10, or Malkut of Bria, the second kingdom. It is called Sandalphon, the Messiah. From B10 came C1, or Keter of Yetzirah, the third crown. The world of Yetzirah was established. The 10 archangels of Bria are conceived to be 10 great spiritual beings, whose duty is to manifest the 10 powers of the great name of God existent in the absolutic world, which surrounds and interpenetrates the entire world of creation. All things manifesting in the lower worlds exist first in the intangible rings of the upper spheres, so that creation is in truth the process of making tangible the intangible, by extending the intangible into various vibratory rates. The 10 globes of Briatic power, while themselves reflections, are mirrored downward into the third or Yetziratic world, where still more limited in their expression they become the spiritual and invisible zodiac, which is behind the visible band of constellations. In this third world, the 10 globes of the original absolutic world are greatly limited and dimmed, but they are still infinitely powerful in comparison with the state of substance in which man dwells. In the third world, C1 to C10, that's Keter to Malkut of Yetzirah, the globes become hierarchies of celestial creatures called choirs of Yetzirah. Here again are all included within the ring C1, or Keter of Yetzirah, the power which controls the Yetziratic world and which includes within itself and controls the entire world of Asiya, or Asiya. The order of the globes and the names of the hierarchies composing them are as follows. B10, or Malkut of Bria. From B10 came C1, or Keter of Yetzirah, the third crown. The hierarchy is to the cherubim, Chayot HaKadosh, the holy animals. From C1 came C2, the third wisdom. This is Chokmah of Yetzirah. The hierarchy is the cherubim, Ophanim, the wheels. It's given some different, that's a little wonky, okay. From C2 and C3 came C3, Binah of Yetzirah, the third understanding. The hierarchy is the thrones, Aralim, the mighty ones. Oh, I think it's doing both the Christian hierarchy of like Dionysius the Areopagite and also of the Jewish tradition. I think that's what it is. It's doing both. Okay. Pardon the interruption, y'all. From C3 came C4, or Chesed of Yetzirah, the third mercy. The hierarchy is the dominations, Chashmalim, the brilliant ones. From C4 came C5, or Geber of Yetzirah, the third severity. The hierarchy is the powers, Seraphim, the flaming serpents. From C5 came C6, or Tiferet of Yetzirah, the third beauty. The hierarchy is the virtues, Malachim, the kings. From C6 came C7, or Netzach of Yetzirah, the third victory. The hierarchy is the principalities, Elohim, the gods. From C7 came C8, or Hod of Yetzirah, the third glory. The hierarchy is the archangels, Beni Elohim, the sons of God. From C8 came C9, or Yesod of Yetzirah, the third foundation. The hierarchy is the angels, cherubim, the seed of the sons. From C9 came C10, or Malkut of Yetzirah, the third kingdom. The hierarchy is humanity, the Ishim, the souls of just men. From C10 came D1, or Keter of Asaya, or Asiya, the physical world. The fourth crown in the world of Asiya was established. From the Yetziratic world, the light of the 10 spheres... it did something. Hold on. No, wait, let's see. From the Yetziratic world, the light of the 10 spheres is reflected into the world of Asiya, the lowest of the four. The 10 globes of the original Atzilutic world here take upon themselves forms of physical matter, and the sidereal system is the result. The world of Asiya, or the elemental world of substance, is the one into which humanity descended at the time of Adam's fall. The Garden of Eden is the 3 upper worlds, and for his sins man was forced into the sphere of substance and assumed coats of skin, bodies. All the spiritual forces of the upper worlds, Atzilut, Beriah, and Yetzirah, when they strike against the elements of the lower world, Asiya, are distorted and perverted, resulting in the creation of hierarchies of demons to correspond with the good spirits in each of the higher worlds. In all the ancient mysteries, matter was regarded as the source of all evil, and spirit the source of all good. For matter inhibits and limits, often so clogging the inner perceptions that man is unable to recognize his own divine potentialities. Since matter thus prevents humanity from claiming its birthright, it is called the adversary, the power of evil. The fourth world, Asiya, is the world of solar systems. According to the Kabbalists, the life of the Supreme Creator permeates... According to the Kabbalists, the life of the Supreme Creator permeates all substances, all space, and all time. But for diagrammatic purposes, the supreme all-inclusive life is limited by Circle 3, which may be called the boundary line of divine existence. The divine life permeating the area bounded by Circle 3 is focused at point 1, which thus becomes the personification of the impersonal life and is termed the first crown. The creative forces pouring through point 1 come into manifestation as the objective universe in the intermediate space. Circle 2. Okay, let's see. Opinions differ as to the arrangement of the globes of this last world, Asiya. That's D1 to D10, Keter through Malkut of Asiya. The ruler of the fourth world is D1, Keter of Asiya, called by some the fiery heaven, by others the prima mobile, or the first motion. From this whirling fire emanates the material starry zodiac, D2, that's Chokmah of Asiya, in contradistinction to the invisible spiritual zodiac of the Yetziratic world. From the zodiac D2 are differentiated the spheres of the planets in concatenate order. The 10 spheres of the world of Asiya are as follows. From C10, that's Malkut of Yetzirah, came D1, that's Keter of Asiya. The fourth crown, Rashit HaGilgalim, the prima mobile, the fiery mist which is the beginning of the material universe. From D1 came D2, that's Chokmah of Asiya. The fourth wisdom, Maslot, the zodiac, the firmament of the fixed stars. From D2 came D3, that's Binah of Asiya, the fourth understanding, Shabbatai, the sphere of Saturn. From D3 came D4, that's Chesed of Asiya, the fourth mercy, Tzedek, the sphere of Jupiter. From D4 came D5, that's Geber of Asiya, the fourth severity, Madim, the sphere of Mars. From D5 came D6, that's Tiferet of Asiya, the fourth beauty, Shemesh, the sphere of the sun. From D6 came D7, that's Netzach of Asiya, the fourth victory, Nolga, the sphere of Venus. From D7 came D8, that's hold of Asiya, the fourth glory, Kokav, the sphere of Mercury. From D8 came D9, Yesod of Asiya, the fourth foundation, Levana, the sphere of the moon. From D9 came D10, it's Malkut of Asiya, the fourth kingdom, Cholam Yesodot, the sphere of the four elements. By inserting a sphere, which he calls the Empyrean, before the prima mobile, Kircher moves each of the other spheres down one, resulting the elimination of the sphere of the elements and making D10 the sphere of the moon. In the world of Asiya are to be found the demons and tempters. These are likewise reflections of the 10 great globes of Atzilut, but because of the distortion of the images resulting from the base substances of the world of Asiya, upon which they are reflected, they become evil creatures called shells by the Kabbalists. There are 10 hierarchies of these demons to correlate with the 10 hierarchies of good spirits composing the Yetziratic world. There are also 10 archdemons corresponding to the 10 archangels of Berea. The black magicians use these inverted spirits in their efforts to attain their nefarious ends, but in time the demon destroys those who bind themselves to it. The 10 orders of demons and the 10 archdemons of the world of Asiya are as follows. And I'm just reading what Manly P. Hall says. I'm not saying I agree with all of this. But skipping, there was a part that was skipped here. It says here, it shows a diagram. It says, in the above chart, the dark line between X3 and A1, or Ein Sof Or and Keter, constitutes the boundary of the original dot, while the concentric circles within this heavier line symbolize the emanations in the worlds which came forth from the dot. As this dot is contained within the outer rings X1, X2, and X3, and represents the first establishment of an individualized existence, so the lower universe, symbolized by the 40 concentric circles within the dot, represents the lower creation evolved out of and yet contained within the nature of the first crown, which may be called God, within whom the divine powers, the celestial beings, the sidereal worlds, and man live and move and have their being. It is highly important that all the rings within A1 be considered as being enclosed by the primitive dot, which is itself encircled by the great ring X1, or the auric egg of Ein Sof. Okay, now going back here, it's going to list off the Klipot. D1, it shows the evil crown hierarchy is called Thalmiel, the doubles of God. The two-headed, the archdemon, are Satan and Moloch. From D1 came D2, the evil wisdom. The hierarchy is called Hygidiel. Those who obstruct the archdemon is Adam Balial. From D2 came D3, the evil understanding. The hierarchy is called Sethariel, the concealment of God. The archdemon is Lucifuge. From D3 came D4, the evil mercy. Hierarchy is called Gamkiko. I'm probably butchering these. Disturber of things. The archdemon is Astaroth. From D4 came D5, the evil severity. The hierarchy is called Golab, incendiarism, burning. The archdemon is Modius. From D5 came D6, the evil beauty. The hierarchy is called Togarini, the wranglers. The archdemon is Belfagor. From D6 came D7, the evil victory. The hierarchy is called Harab Sarap, the dispersing raven. The archdemon is Baal Hanan. From D7 came D8, the evil glory. The hierarchy is called Samael, the embroiler. The archdemon is Adramelech. From D8 came D9, the evil foundation. The hierarchy is called Gamaliel, the obscene. The archdemon is Lilith. From D9 came D10, the evil kingdom. The hierarchy is called Nahemot, the impure. The archdemon is Nahema. Okay, there. The Kabbalists declared that the worlds, intelligences, and hierarchies were established according to the vision of Ezekiel. By the man of Ezekiel's vision is symbolized the world of Atzilut. by the throne, the world of Berea, by the firmament, the world of Yetzirah, and by the living creatures, the world of Asiya. These spheres are the wheels within wheels of the prophet. The Kabbalists next established a human figure in each of the four worlds. A1 was the head and A10 the feet of the man of Atzilut. B1 was the head and B10 the feet of the man of Berea. C1 was the head and C10 the feet of the man of Yetzirah. D1 was the head and D10 the feet of the man of Asiya. These four are called the world men. They are considered androgynous and are the prototypes of humanity. The human body, like that of the universe, is considered to be a material expression of 10 globes or spheres of light. Therefore, man is called the microcosm, the little world, built in the image of the great world of which he is a part. The Kabbalists also established a mysterious universal man with his head at A1 and his feet at D10. This is probably the secret significance of the great figure of Nebuchadnezzar's dream, with its head in the world of Atzilut, its arms and hands in the world of Berea, its generative system in the world of Yetzirah, and its legs and feet in the world of Asiya. This is the grand man of the Zohar, of whom Eliphas Levi writes. It is not less astonishing to observe at the beginning of the Zohar the profundity of its notions and the sublime simplicity of its images. It is said as follows: the science of equilibrium is the key of occult science. Unbalanced forces perish in the void. So pass the kings of the elder world, the princes of the giants. They have fallen like trees without roots, and their place is found no more. Through the conflict of unbalanced forces, the devastated earth was void and formless, and the Spirit of God made for itself a place in heaven and reduced the mass of waters. All the aspirations of nature were directed then towards the unity of form, towards the living synthesis. If equilibrated forces, the face of God, crowned with light, rose over the vast sea and was reflected in the waters thereof. His 2 eyes were manifested, radiating with splendor, darting 2 beams of light which crossed with those of the reflection. The brow of God and his eyes formed a triangle in heaven, and its reflection formed a second triangle in the waters. So was revealed the number 6, being that of universal creation. The text, which would be unintelligible in a literal version, is translated here by way of interpretation. The author makes it plain that the human form which he ascribes to deity is only an image of his meaning, and that God is beyond expression by human thought or representation by any figure. Pascal said that God is a circle, of which the center is everywhere and the circumference nowhere. But how is one to imagine a circle apart from its circumference? The Zohar adopts the antithesis of this paradoxical image, and in respect of the circle of Pascal would say rather that the circumference is everywhere, while that which is nowhere is the center. It is, however, to a balance and not to a circle that it compares the universal equilibrium of things. It affirms that equilibrium is everywhere, and so also is the central point where the balance hangs in suspension. We find that the Zohar is thus more forcible and more profound than Pascal. The Zohar is a genesis of light. The Sefer Yetzirah is a ladder of truth. Therein are expounded the 32 absolute symbols of speech, being numbers and letters. Each letter produces a number, an idea, and a form, so that mathematics are applicable to forms and ideas, even as to numbers, in virtue of an exact proportion and a perfect correspondence. By the science of the Sefer Yetzirah, the human mind is rooted in truth and in reason. It accounts for all progress possible to intelligence by means of the evolution of numbers. Thus does the Zohar represent absolute truth, while the Sefer Yetzirah furnishes the method of its acquisition, its discernment and application, the history of magic. By placing man himself at the point D10, his true constitution is revealed. He exists upon 4 worlds, only one of which is visible. It is then made evident that his parts and members upon the material plane are, by analogy, hierarchies and intelligences in the higher worlds. Here again the law of interpretation is evidenced. Although within man is the entire universe, the 43 spheres interpenetrating D10, he is ignorant of its existence because he cannot exercise control over that which is superior to or greater than himself. Nevertheless, all these higher spheres exercise control over him, as his functions and activities demonstrate. If they did not, he would be an inert mass of substance. Death is merely the result of deflecting the life impulses of the higher rings away from the lower body. The control of the transubstantial rings over their own material reflection is called life, and the spirit of man is, in reality, a name given to this great host of intelligences which are focused upon substance through a point called the ego, established in the midst of themselves. X1 is the outside boundary of the human auric egg, and the entire diagram becomes a cross-section of the constitution of man, or a cross-section of the cosmic constitution, if correlated with the universe. By the secret culture of the Qabalistic school, man is taught how to climb the rings, unfold his consciousness, until at last he returns to Ein Sof. The process by which this is accomplished is called the 50 Gates of Light. Kircher, the Jesuit Kabbalist, declares that Moses passed through 49 of the gates, but that Christ alone passed the 50th gate. To the 3rd edition of the Sefer Yetzirah, translated from the Hebrew by William Wynne Westcott, are appended the 50 gates of intelligence emanating from Binah, the 2nd Sephirah. The source of this information is Kircher's Oedipus Aegyptiacus. The gates are divided into 6 orders, of which the first 4 have each 10 subdivisions, the 5th 9, and the 6th only 1. The first order of gates is termed elementary, and its divisions are as follows. 1. Chaos, Heil, the first matter. 2. Formless, void, lifeless. 3. The abyss. 4. Origin of the elements. 5. Earth, no seed germs. 6. Water. 7. Air. 8. Fire. 9. Differentiation of qualities. 10. Mixture and combination. The second order of gates is termed Decad of Evolution, and its divisions are as follows. 11. Minerals differentiate. 12. Vegetable principles appear. 13. Seeds germinate in moisture. 14. Herbs and trees. 15. Fructification in vegetable life. 16. Origin of low forms of animal life. 17. Insects and reptiles appear. 18. Fishes vertebrate life in the waters. 19. Birds vertebrate life in the air. 20. Quadrupeds vertebrate earth animals. The third order of gates is termed Decad of Humanity, and its divisions are as follows. 21. The appearance of man. 22. The material human body. 23. The human soul conferred. 24. The mystery of Adam and Eve. 25. Complete man as the microcosm. 26. Gift of 5 human faces acting exteriorly. 26. Gift of 5 human faces acting exteriorly. 27. Gift of 5 powers to the soul. 28. Adam Kadmon, the heavenly man. 29. Angelic beings. 30. Man in the image of God. The fourth order of gates is termed the world of spheres, and its divisions are as follows. 31. Heaven of the moon. 32. The heaven of Mercury. 33. The heaven of Venus. 34. The heaven of the sun. 35. The heaven of Mars. 36. The heaven of Jupiter. 37. The heaven of Saturn. 38. The firmament. 39. The prima mobile. 40. The empyrean heaven. The fifth order of gates is termed the angelic world, and its divisions are as follows. 41. Ishim, the sons of fire. 42. Ophanim, the cherubim. 43. Aralim, thrones. 44. Hashmalim, dominions. 45. Seraphim, virtues. 46. Malachim, powers. 47. Elohim, principalities. 48. Beni Elohim, angels. 49. Cherubim, archangels. The order of the angels is a matter of controversy, the arrangement above differing from that accepted in other sections of this volume. The rabbins disagree fundamentally as to the proper sequence of the angelic names. The sixth order is termed the archetype and consists of but one gate, 50, God, Ein Sof. He who no mortal eye hath seen. The 50th gate leads from creation into the creative principle, and he who passes through it returns into the unlimited and undifferentiated condition of all. The 50 gates reveal a certain evolutionary process, and it was declared by the rabbins that he who would attain to the highest degree of understanding must pass sequentially through all of these orders of life, each of which constituted a gate in that spirit, passing from the lower to the higher, found in each more responsive organism new avenues of self-expression. Okay, and that is it for that, and that is just part of our early morning readings. And so, we'll do different readings and just to share and study together so that we can all kind of take part together in knowledge. And, all study together and learn, and we're going to go through these works together, and I'm going to go more into Agrippa, and we're going to go into some of this, the sources for the Shem angels as well. So anyways, I will see y'all in the next video. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day, y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Have a great day, everyone.